Hi everyone, in my last video I demonstrated how you could have JMRI set up to run trains automatically without block occupancy sensors being placed across the layout. Now in this video I want to show how I have two of my main loops set up to run trains automatically without block occupancy sensors across every section of track. So the example I will use is the up fast. So that's the line that comes across here and essentially runs under here, and that is the loop. So those two are connected just like here and here. And I'll start by showing how you would set up a transit to run trains continuously around a loop. So in this video I'm not going to cover the track diagram and creation of blocks, but I will just cover the transit. So the transit is called up fast main loop, and as mentioned in my previous video, these sections are all using internal sensors which are set active by the previous section. So as we move through, you'll see that up fast main is setting up fast main 2 to active. Up fast main 2 will set up fast main 3 to active. There is a slight delay to replicate the train moving from one block to the next, but this just means that I don't have to have sensors on every single block. As mentioned in my last video, this won't accurately reflect where the train is, but it is essentially keeping those allocated blocks active until the train reaches its final block, where, as I mentioned in my previous video, you could either manually set the block active when the train reaches its destination, or you could, as I have in my case now, put a block occupancy sensor on the final block. The final block being the same as the starting block in order to create the loop. So you'll see here that it's up fast main start to up fast main start. And as the train reaches its final destination, that is the point at which the previous blocks will all be set inactive. Now I want to just quickly mention here that there is also a sensor here called up fast main delay, and that is used as part of the dispatcher instructions, where for continuous running we have the transit set up as up fast main loop. The start is the start and the destination is the start because it's a loop. And we have this restart when done for continuous running, but there is a delay, and the sensor delay is up fast main delay. So when it reaches its destination, it sets up fast main delay to inactive. That will mean that the train will not start again until it becomes active, and the way in which that will become active, I currently just have a logic script set up that, if I can just find it here, up fast main loop. The logic script will simply say that if the up fast main delay sensor is inactive, then after 60 seconds set it to active. So when the train goes round the loop, when it reaches its destination, it will pause for 60 seconds. And the reason for that is, in my layout, that will allow some time for any other conflicting transits or train movements to be able to take place, and JMRI will work through which trains are waiting to be allocated a route that would conflict with the up fast main loop transit or train movement. So what does all this mean? Well, I'm currently just using it for this loop here as mentioned. So as the train leaves here, it'll go around the loop, reach its destination and wait for 60 seconds. Some of that for me is so that this junction is clear, trains can leave or enter this junction. However, the bit I also wanted to cover, and maybe something that I will look to have sorted in the future, is that you could have a fiddle yard such as this, where essentially you have trains that are held in your fiddle yard like this. The train could then leave as part of a continuous loop. You could have 3 trains set up so they're all ready to go, and by simply setting these sensors to active or inactive, JMRI will then be able to send the train, especially if one of these trains is waiting. I'll just quickly demonstrate again how that works in practice. So for me, I have a train set up here on the Upfast main loop. I will load the train info in dispatcher, set the train to run. You'll see it's now allocated a route, so no other conflicting train movements can occur. So it's essentially any other trains that needed to cross the junction would not be able to. It will start to track train movements. Now, because I've got an occupancy sensor here, I'm able to tell JMRI not to set these active until this one has become inactive. The train will make its way around the layout again. And as the train reaches its destination, it'll pause for the 60 seconds. And then it will allocate another loop. At this point, if there were any conflicting train movements, JMRI will be able to allocate the route to the other train, and it won't start this one until the other trains have passed through the junction. It's now allocated the route again, and the same will apply. So I hope that helps explain what I was referring to in my previous video. I think an example would be where you have a fiddle yard like this on a non-scenic section. It might be part of an exhibition layout where you'll have 3 trains set up ready to go out onto the scenic section, but they'll be dependent on a delay on the loops, and also either a block occupancy sensor here or somebody telling JMRI whether these blocks are currently active or inactive, simply allowing somebody to say that the train has reached its destination should then hold that train until it is required to do its next loop, and will send out one of the other trains around the scenic section of the layout. As for my layout, some of my next things to look at are that I want to be able to tell a train that's going around the loop to load a different transit at some point. That might be by pressing one of these buttons. For example, instead of going for another loop around the up fast, I want to be able to press a sensor that sends it to the return loop, ready to enter into one of these platforms, and I've started to set up here where I can then say which platform to send the train into. I'm still working on that, it's still a work in progress. I'll see where I'm up to by the next video. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.